Hello and welcome to the news tonight, your daily dose of what's been happening in India and around the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and a big story tonight is, of course, the Prime Minister's maiden visit to the Northeast. All that and more in the next half hour, but first a look at the headlines we're tracking right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins his maiden visit to the Northeast, flags off the first passenger train to Meghalaya. The Islamic State's 23-year-old Indian recruit in NIA custody after he returned home, as the Home Minister admits growing terror designs are a big challenge for India. Rajnath Singh accuses Pakistan of destabilizing India, says state actors behind the terrorism in India. An Egyptian court acquits Hosni Mubarak of murder and corruption charges, but the former dictator will have to stay in jail for another 3 years. And the first test between India and Australia postponed following the death of Philip Hughes. Cricket Australia says players will not be mentally prepared for the match. All right, the top story tonight is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's focus on the Northeast. Yes, he began his maiden 4-day visit to the region today. He began that visit from Assam, where he flagged off the first passenger train to Meghalaya. He's also set to inaugurate a power project in Tripura, amongst other engagements.
On day one of his 4-day trip to the Northeast as Prime Minister, Narendra Modi brought Meghalaya on the country's rail map more than 6 decades after independence. He flagged off the first passenger train from Guwahati to Mendipathar and also laid the foundation stone of broad-gauge conversion of the Bhairabi-Sarang line in Mizoram. He also advocated privatization of railway stations in order to modernize them.
रेलवे में आमूलचूल परिवर्तन लाना है. विश्व का पूरा अच्छे से अच्छा काम है, उसमें से जो नई चीजें ला सकते हैं हमें लानी है. हमने कहा है कि रेलवे स्टेशनों को प्राइवेटाइज करो. नीचे ट्रेन चलती रहे, ऊपर 5 स्टार 7 स्टार होटल बना दो, मोटेल बना लो, मॉल बना दो. ट्रेन चलती रहेगी, ट्रेन के ऊपर आसमान पूरा खुला पड़ा है, उसमें से इनकम करो और रेलवे को अच्छी करो.
Later, he attended the Platinum Jubilee celebrations of the Assam Tribune newspaper, where he underlined the importance of the press in India.
अखबार सिर्फ जानकारी देता ऐसा नहीं है. हमें समाचार पहुंचाता ऐसा नहीं है. अखबार हमारी सोच को मोल्ड करता है, हमारी विचार प्रक्रिया को दिशा देता है. अखबार हमें नए विश्व की ओर देखने के लिए खिड़की खोल करके देता है.
Prime Minister Modi is also expected to meet the chief ministers of all 7 northeastern states during his visit. He will inaugurate the second unit of the 726 megawatt power project in Palatana in southern Tripura. He will also attend the annual cultural festivals of Manipur and Nagaland. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, now the National Investigation Agency has registered an FIR against Arif Majid. He is one of the 4 youths who had left their homes in Mumbai to join the terror group, the Islamic State. He has been charged with the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and sections of the IPC for joining the banned terror group.
Third-year civil engineering student Arif Majid, the 23-year-old man from Kalyan, had sent shockwaves across the country when he and 3 of his friends entered Syria with the intention of joining the Islamic State. He returned to India Friday night after his plans of working with the terror group apparently did not go according to plan. The accused was brought back by NIA from Turkey and is being questioned. Sources say Majid was highly radicalized and showed no signs of remorse. He said he had joined the Islamic State to serve the cause of Allah. Majid got indoctrinated through web-based jihadi literature. He had expressed desire to join the Islamic State on their website. But with his grand plans failing, Majid is believed to have turned himself into Indian officials in Turkey.
बच्चा आ गया तो काफ़ी बड़ी खुशी की बात है और बहुत ही खुशी की बात है। इसको हम लोग बयान नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन मैंने जैसे डॉक्टर एजाज मजीद से पूछा और मैंने दूसरे पेरेंट्स से पूछा तो दूसरे पेरेंट ने कहा कि हमको तो कुछ भी मालूम नहीं भाई। डॉक्टर साहब को ने कहा कि भाई बच्चा आया ऐसा मुझको भी मालूम पड़ा, लेकिन 100% मैं इसकी पुष्टि नहीं कर सकता हूँ क्योंकि मेरी बच्चे से कोई बात नहीं हुई है और कोई आला ऑफिसर से बात नहीं हुई है।
A report had revealed that the Islamic State was using the Indian Mujahideen to recruit poor Muslims from India. Central security agencies claim that the militant group is targeting the youth in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Jammu and Kashmir. The Islamic State is fighting a deadly battle in Iraq and Syria, where it has killed lakhs of people in a deadly pursuit to establish an Islamic caliphate. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the emergence of IS and reports of Indian youths joining the terror outfit has sent the alarm bells ringing for the government and the security establishment. And Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh minced no words in highlighting the threats the country faces and urged security and intelligence agencies to stay alert. Here's a detailed report.
Arif Majid could be just the tip of an iceberg. More and more Indian youths are getting attracted to terror organizations, getting swayed by their ideologies, and this is a matter of deep concern for the government. Addressing the 49th DGP's and IG's conference, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said that growing terror designs in the subcontinent is a major challenge for India. But terror groups will not be allowed to get a foothold in the country.
ISIS के बारे में आप जानते हैं, इसका जन्म इराक और सीरिया में हुआ। लेकिन भले ही इसका जन्म इराक और सीरिया में क्यों न हुआ हो, लेकिन इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट इससे अछूता नहीं रह सकता है। इस हकीकत को भी हमें समझने की आवश्यकता है। आपके दमखम के आधार पर मैं कह सकता हूं, आपकी कॉम्पिटेंस, आपकी कैपेबिलिटी के आधार पर मैं कह सकता हूं कि चाहे कितने भी बड़े सिक्योरिटी फ्रंट पर चैलेंजेस क्यों न हो, उस पर हम विजय हासिल करेंगे, हम कामयाबी हासिल करके रहेंगे।
The Home Minister also said some strong words against Pakistan, saying its claim of non-state actors being behind terror emanating from its soil was untrue. Rajnath in fact accused the neighbor of destabilizing India.
दुर्भाग्य है कि पाकिस्तान अपनी हरकतों से बाज नहीं आ रहा है, क्योंकि जब कभी भी पाकिस्तान के साथ बातचीत होती है तो पाकिस्तान का यह कहना है कि ये नॉन स्टेट एक्टर्स हैं जिनके द्वारा इस प्रकार की हरकतें की जा रही हैं। मैं पाकिस्तान के हुक्मरानों से पूछना चाहता हूं कि यदि वह नॉन स्टेट एक्टर्स के द्वारा इस प्रकार की आतंकवादी गतिविधियां यदि भारत में की जा रही हैं तो ISI क्या यह भी नॉन स्टेट एक्टर है?
The Home Minister was all praise for the police and the NIA for busting the Bardhaman terror module, which had links to a terrorist group in Bangladesh. Singh also felicitated several police personnel and paid homage to those who had sacrificed their lives for the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some election news now. As Jharkhand readies to go to the polls in the second phase on Tuesday, there's a rush of political bigwigs hitting the campaign trail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Jamshedpur and Ranchi today to woo voters, calling once again for an end to dynastic rule. Modi termed these assembly elections as critical for the state's future.
ये चुनाव महत्वपूर्ण है। इस महत्वपूर्ण चुनाव को हमने समझना चाहिए और मैं ये बात खास तौर के आज जमशेदपुर और रांची के लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं।
The Prime Minister's poll pitch in Jamshedpur, the first of two rallies he addressed in Jharkhand on Saturday on the penultimate day of campaigning for the second phase. Referring to 14 years since Jharkhand was formed, Modi likened the state to a teenager, saying the next 5 years would be critical to deciding the longer-term progress of the state into adulthood and realizing its potential.
बाल्टी में छेद हो और कितना ही पानी नलके में से आता हो, बाल्टी कभी भरेगी क्या? भरेगी क्या? अगर सरकार में ही छेद होगा और दिल्ली से रुपया आएंगे तो काम आएंगे क्या? चले जाएंगे? हमने जो कोयले की नीति बनाई है, उसके कारण अब चोर लुटेरों के उसमें जगह नहीं है। ये लूटने वालों ने बहुत लूट लिया, अब कोयला लूटने नहीं दिया जाएगा।
As at Jamshedpur, later in state capital Ranchi, Modi once again stepped up the offensive against dynasty and family politics. Stressing they have been the bane of Jharkhand and the entire nation.
पूर्ण बहुमत वाली भाजपा की सरकार बना के दे दीजिए, मैं आपको आपके सपनों का झारखंड बना के दे दूंगा भाई। अब ये परिवारवाद, ये वंशवाद, इससे देश तंग आ चुका है।
13 districts of Jharkhand, including Jamshedpur and Ranchi, go to polls in the second phase on the 2nd of December. Sunday is the last date for campaigning for this phase.
मजबूत सरकार है।
Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And Congress President Sonia Gandhi also campaigned in Jharkhand today. She addressed a rally in Patamda in East Singhbhum district that joins Jamshedpur, that also goes to the polls in the second phase on the 2nd of December. Sonia slammed the BJP for what she termed misuse of power and promises unkept.
In the thick of Jharkhand's tribal belt, the Congress president chose to highlight what she calls anti-people and anti-tribal policies of the BJP government in New Delhi to reach out to the voters in Jharkhand. In East Singhbhum's Patamda constituency in Jharkhand, Sonia had lashed out at the BJP with allegations of protecting interests of big business houses at the cost of the poor man.
भाजपा दावा करती है कि वह आदिवासियों की संरक्षक है। जिन राज्यों में भाजपा सरकारें हैं, जिसमें गुजरात भी है, वहां पूंजीपतियों को फायदा पहुंचाने के लिए उन्हें अपनी जमीनों से उजाकर खुले आसमान में जीने के लिए मजबूर किया है।
Sonia said labour reforms being brought in by the BJP in the name of strengthening the country's economy are anti-people.
कांग्रेस पार्टी संगठित और असंगठित क्षेत्र के कामगारों के लिए हमेशा संघर्ष करती रही है, लेकिन भाजपा सरकार, केंद्र की भाजपा सरकार हमारे श्रम कानूनों में संशोधन करके कामगारों के शोषण की छूट देना चाहती है।
East Singhbhum, that falls in Kolhan, is a high tribal density region. Congress President Rahul Gandhi had campaigned in the area on Friday. It's among 13 districts of the state going to polls in the second phase on the 2nd of December. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for all the other national news and updates, let's take you nationwide. At least 8 people, including a CRPF inspector, were injured in a grenade attack at Lal Chowk in Srinagar today. Terrorists carried out the attack this afternoon, targeting a CRPF picket in an abandoned cinema hall. The attack comes just 2 days ahead of polling in Srinagar. The security has been beefed up after this incident. An inquiry committee report has blamed Patna's local administration and the police for the stampede that killed 33 people at the Gandhi Maidan 2 months ago. The committee said that the administration and the police collectively failed in preventing the incident. The stampede took place when people were returning after the Dussehra celebrations. Kolkata civic body has given a go-ahead to BJP President Amit Shah's rally in the city tomorrow. This comes after the Kolkata High Court had to step in and give conditional permission to the rally. Ruling Trinamool Congress government had earlier denied the permission, citing traffic problems. The BJP had then moved the High Court, alleging a political motive. In a daring daylight heist, 2 armed robbers looted a cash van in Delhi. They fled with 1.5 crore rupees after shooting a security guard dead in Kamla Nagar area of North Delhi. No arrests have been made so far. The cops are inspecting CCTV footage to identify the robbers. All right, time now for us to slip into a very quick break, but coming up on the other side, protesters in Ferguson are back on the streets. Details return when we follow. Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. All right, some international news now. In a surprising verdict, an Egyptian court has acquitted former President Hosni Mubarak of murder and corruption charges. The court has also cleared Mubarak's former interior minister and 6 other security officials of wrongdoing over the deaths of protesters in 2011. Mixed reactions have poured in over the verdict.
The packed courtroom burst into cheers as the judge finished reading the verdict. Declaring former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak innocent on counts of both murder and corruption.
لمحمد حسني السيد مبارك من اتهام بالاشتراك مع سامح فهمي وزير البترول الأسبق في إسناد بيع وتصدير الغاز الطبيعي لإسرائيل.
The court also dropped all charges against 7 of Mubarak's senior officials, including former Interior Minister Habib al-Adli. Mubarak's son, Gamal and Ala were also cleared of separate corruption charges by the same court. A divided crowd gathered outside the court, some celebrating the verdict, others in bereavement.
شعب مصر كله بيحبك من الصغير للكبير من الجاهل والمتعلم احنا بنعشقك طبعا ومرضيين وربنا يكرمك ويديك الصحه وربنا ينصرك على من يعاديك ودي نصره كبيره مش ليك نصره كبيره لمصر وابناء مصر.
العادل دستور ربنا في الأحكام يطبقوه وإحنا بلد مسلمة يبقى نطبق دستور ربنا في الأحكام المتهم وكل متهم يتحاكم على قد إيه إجرامه.
Hosni Mubarak, his former interior minister, and 6 others have been convicted of conspiracy to kill and were sentenced to life in prison in June 2012, but a retrial was ordered in 2013. However, the 86-year-old former dictator will not walk free despite the verdict. He was found guilty in May in another case related to theft of public funds. He is now serving a separate 3-year sentence for misuse of public funds. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, at least 120 people are now feared killed in Friday's attack on a mosque in Kano district of Nigeria. 2 suicide bombers had blown themselves up at the mosque even as Friday prayers were underway, raising mayhem at the shrine. The Nigerian president has vowed to hunt down the perpetrators, and fingers are pointing at Boko Haram once again.
The cruel aftermath of a heinous attack. Friday prayers were on at the Grand Mosque attached to the palace of Emir of Kano when the suicide attackers struck. Worse, gunmen opened fire on people who tried to escape. The scale of inhumanity seems almost grotesque. The death toll is up to 120. More than 270 are reported injured. With everything to say, the toll will rise sharply yet. Police say an angry mob killed 4 of the shooters in chaotic aftermath. Once again, as with the spate of attacks in Nigeria in the recent past, the Boko Haram militant group is believed responsible, though there are no claims of responsibility yet. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan vows a crackdown against the attackers. He said, and I quote, "We will launch a full-scale investigation and leave no stone unturned until all agents of terror undermining the right of every citizen to life and dignity are tracked down and brought to justice." Unquote. The attack comes just 2 weeks after the Emir of Kano called for self-defense, urging people to procure arms and fight Boko Haram. Significantly, the Emir made the call at the same mosque where Friday's attack occurred. Mass casualties are not a new phenomenon in the extremist 5-year insurgency. More than 13,000 people are thought to have died since 2009. A Nigerian Red Cross report suggests that more than 1 million Nigerians have been displaced in this period in northeast Nigeria. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to news from the Americas, where protests are renewed in the US over a grand jury's decision not to indict a cop for killing an unarmed teenager in Ferguson. Protesters held a boycott of Black Friday to highlight the purchasing power of black Americans and draw links between economic and racial inequality. Here's more.
This is what democracy looks like.
Hundreds of protesters took to the streets in the US to show their anger about a grand jury decision not to indict a white police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black teen. Disrupting commerce, transit and traffic became focal points for demonstrators across the country. Holding signs reading "Blackout Black Friday," they urged shoppers not to spend money on what is known as the busiest shopping day of the year.
Voicing your opinion is not enough. You have to disrupt business as usual for this to happen. And that's the only thing that's ever made change. It's the real way democracies function.
Just to say, you know what, we don't have to shop on Black Friday, or we can support minority-owned businesses, and we don't have to contribute to huge conglomerates like Macy's and Foot Lockers and The Gap and other places like that.
Ferguson, New York, California and St. Louis were some of the US cities which saw demonstrators marching through streets, sometimes blocking traffic and scuffling with the police. This comes amid a UN watchdog's urge to the US to crack down on police brutalities.
We have reports of widespread excessive use of force by the police, and this gives rise to concern, of course, and also that some vulnerable groups, including ethnic groups, blacks, have been particularly targeted by this force. And for this reason, the committee feels that there's a need for investigation and prosecution of all cases of police brutality and excessive use of force.
Several demonstrators were arrested after fresh protests. The arrests on Friday followed 2 nights of minimal conflict. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for more international news and updates, here's the Global Buzz. Pakistani fighter jets pounded the Taliban's hideout areas in the restive northwest tribal region, killing at least 21 militants. The attacks were carried out on Friday, targeting Taliban-linked militants in remote Tira Valley of the Khyber tribal district. 2 months of US-led airstrikes have failed to weaken Islamic State militants. This according to Syrian Foreign Minister Walid al-Mualim. He said the only way to tackle the militant group is to force Turkey to tighten border controls to stop foreign fighters from crossing into Syria. French members of parliament are debating whether or not to recognize the Palestinian state. The motion was brought by the socialist MP Elisabeth Guigou. It calls on the French government to use recognition as an aid to reaching a definitive solution to the conflict in the Middle East. The actual vote will take place on the 2nd of December. Voters in Taiwan headed to polls to elect over 11,000 local officials amid growing discontent over President Ying-jeou's and his Kuomintang government. Almost 20,000 candidates are running for the polls. The ruling Kuomintang party is believed to be close to China, while its supporters say Taiwan needs good relations with its powerful neighbor. All right, we'll take another quick break, but when we return, we get you the latest from the Macau Open. So stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight and all sports news now. The first test between India and Australia has been postponed following the death of Australian batsman Philip Hughes. The match in Brisbane was due to begin Thursday but will be rescheduled after it was announced that Hughes' funeral will take place on Wednesday. Cricket Australia said that the players were not mentally prepared to take the field a day after the funeral. A new date for the test would be set up after consultation with the BCCI. Ticket sales for the match have been suspended. However, the Indian team will travel to Brisbane on Monday as originally planned, with some players and staff attending the funeral. And here's all the other sports news with Sportsbeat. Shuttler PV Sindhu stormed into the women's singles final at the Macau Open after an easy straight sets victory over her Thai opponent. The defending champion won comfortably 21-14, 21-15 in just 42 minutes. However, the men's challenge ended for India as youngster HS Pranoy lost his semi-final match against his opponent from Hong Kong. Formula One team's Williams has named Susie Wolff as their test driver for next season. Susie was given an enhanced role after she impressed in an outing in free practice at the German Grand Prix this year. The move means the 31-year-old Scot would be the first choice to race for Williams should the main drivers Bottas or Massa not be available. Attention is turned towards the issue of player safety after the death of batsman Philip Hughes. Lancashire cricket director head coach Ashley Giles has ordered new helmets for his team. Giles said he wanted the squad to be well protected as possible. Hughes died on Thursday, 2 days after being hit by a bouncer on the head. Well, that's it in the news tonight, but we'll be back every night at 9 p.m. with the latest from India and the world. Keep watching.